You're listening to Validated by Victoria.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria Vesh and welcome to Validated by Victoria, coming at you from the Berman Law Group Studios in Boca Raton, Florida. What is up? I have a special guest with me today. It's Jessica Kiernan. Woo-hoo. At Jessica Kiernan on Instagram. She has 121,000 followers. She's hot stuff, and I'm so happy to have her here today. She is such a genuine soul, such a good person. I actually slid into her DMs not long ago. Yep. I slid into her DMs not long ago, asking to hang out, make some content. Met up with her the other day. Coolest person I've met here so far, and I'm so happy to get to know her and call her a friend. So I had to ask her to come on my podcast, and let's just talk about life.
Yeah,
what is up?
I'm excited. I'm so happy you moved here number one.
Oh.
I get to have another bestie here.
Yay! Well, I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, like how you got into fitness and modeling, where you're from, and
yeah. So I started fitness actually when I was 15, and then I really started being a personal trainer when I was around 20. And then after that, I ended up getting a manager, and we started like creating my name as my brand, and it was more or less just kind of trying to be like the next Jillian Michaels. That's kind of like how we quoted it, and just kind of taking that, making it a brand, being all about health and fitness, but kind of in a way bringing it to people in the best way possible, the easiest way possible, you know, making people feel good about themselves, being healthy, being fit, but it being easy for them to grasp, you know, taking the science and making it easy for people to understand. So I started that, and that was around 2010, 2011, and it took off because social media wasn't really huge yet. You know, we had YouTube. It was me and like two other girls on YouTube doing fitness tips, video tips, things like that, nutrition tips, and then I started the modeling. I did fitness shows to get my name out there and just kind of, you know, keep that brand going and making it grow. I'm an author. I wrote 3 books that are on Amazon, so which is great for you because I'm excited for you. I know you're going to be doing something soon, so
yeah.
I'm excited for that. That's going to be fantastic.
I'll have to get your advice on.
Yeah, it's a really fun
some
process.
writing stuff.
Super fun process. Very, very, very hard, but very fun. Worthwhile though. So let's see what else. What else have I done? I don't know, everything.
Sounds like you've done a lot. Sounds like you're like a super hustler too. I like that.
It's all about the hustle. You have to
what was like your first YouTube video or some like content video? How did that turn out?
The first video, it was great actually. I had my manager at the time helping me, so it was just him and I, and we got, you know, the lighting. We had a place to film everything. We were doing the Fierce Minute at the time for my YouTube channel. So it was called the Fierce Minute, and every week we posted either a fitness tip or a video tip, and it was about 1 minute long, so kept people's, you know, attention really quickly. So it was fitness or nutrition. We'd film it all over the place. We'd kind of go outside. We'd do all kinds of things, and we actually had people engaged. So it was people that had questions for me, and each week I took those questions and I answered them, and that's kind of how we went about it. So we really engaged the audience as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about your books? Like, what are your books about?
The books are about health and fitness, and literally the first one was Fierce Abs. We called it Fierce Abs. So we took a consensus. We had a whole thing on social media. What do people really want from me? What do they really want to know? What are they interested in? And the first thing was abdominals. How do they get, you know, shredded 6-pack? How do they get started? How do you do it? How do you eat? So we took that and we went with it. Again, we just used our audience as a way to bring in like what was really needed, what was wanted for, you know, for everyone. So
that's awesome. I feel like everybody like wants to have abs. Instead, I just eat a 6-pack of donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. But no, like, what is your number one tip for abs? Like,
abs is diet. Really, diet.
No donuts.
Diet. And then cardio.
Yeah.
Correctly done though. Everything has to be done correctly. But first and foremost, absolutely, it's going to be your diet and your water intake. So.
How much water should you be intaking?
You need at least a gallon a day.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
yeah, that's
gallon
not,
to 2.
happening.
And if you go over, obviously, like, it can be toxic. So you have to keep, you know, a certain number there. But
can tequila be water?
I'm
Maybe
a tequila
not.
girl. I love donuts, so trust me when I say it is.
You know what? It's good to, you know, every once in a while, splurge a little bit.
Absolutely.
You can't deprive yourself completely.
Absolutely. I always say don't deprive yourself because you set yourself up for failure that way.
Truth.
And everything in moderation. So, you know, I have a great group of friends down in Fort Lauderdale now, and we like to go out. I like to eat. I like to enjoy myself. I think moving to Florida a couple years ago really just made me want to hone in and like enjoy life and just have fun and eat and drink a little bit more than I normally would have. But I gave myself that moderation and that fun time. So you have to do that in order to succeed.
Yeah, I feel like in the 28/50 years I've lived life, it feels like
Right?
that living life in moderation and kind of giving yourself a break and doing things that, you know, love to do. Just kind of, it's that balance. It's that happy balance of life. I feel like we're all trying to perfect that. All right, so what is your favorite healthy food and your favorite junk food?
Healthy food. Honestly, I do love eggs. So I like them hard-boiled, though.
Eggs.
So eggs are like my go-to for that. And bad food, I don't really know. I guess everyone knows, that's been following me forever, I love pasta and I love donuts. So that's going to always be my top two.
And you're Italian.
Yes.
I'm
100%
Italian.
So
Lord, we're in a room full of Italian women right now. I know Evan's probably like in the back, like, oh, Lord.
he can handle it. Seems like he can handle it.
So, like, tell me a little bit how you got into modeling, because you've grown your Instagram, like, really well. It's very well curated. That's, like, something when I look at Instagram, seeing, like, oh, it's, like, very professionally done. You have great photos. So how'd you get into that?
Well, the Instagram, all the social media is based around it's a business. You know, no matter what, I don't really post emotional posts. I think that's more my stories where I kind of want to show people this other side of me than, you know, every day at home, or, you know, if I write poetry, there's other parts to me that people never really got to see for a long time because it was just business. And now it's I've kind of made it more playful, where it's still, every post is a business post no matter what, but it's geared for some reason, you know, whether it's just me being my lifestyle, my daily life, you know, kind of have fun with it, or if it's the modeling, which is always, you know, a huge part of my life, obviously, you guys know, or the fitness lifestyle. So I kind of bring everything into it. But I started modeling, I guess, I think around 2008, 2009, but then got serious once my business took off and I made a name for myself in the industry. That's where I started to really bring in the modeling, and I had a purpose for it. So there was a reason behind it. And shooting every day, making content. I absolutely love filming. I love shooting. I love editing. You know, I love the process of taking photos and videos. I think it's really fun and creative, and it's another way to explore my creativity with other people and their vision. So it makes it so much fun for me. I absolutely love it.
I love creating. It just like opens up my mind. I like, you know, meeting new people, creating content with other people. I think that's like a big thing. It's just like I've met a lot of friends through creating content, and it's just an awesome network and friendships you build all over the United States. So
and
East Coast,
I
West.
People take it the wrong way too. Like they'll see our Instagrams or our social media accounts, and they can, you know, people will say negative things or take a negative thing to it, or even like guys, you know, it's hard to date if they see our stuff and you're like, no, it's a business, you know, I run it as a business. And at the end of the day, it's about creative and fun, and I think if people really understand that, then, you know, it's better.
We will talk about the male ego a little later on this segment. But yeah, I feel like people misconstrue.
They do.
This is my country accent coming out right now. But I feel like people do misconstrue social media a lot.
Absolutely. And
a
then
lot.
you. So
they
can, you know, there's a lot of judging going on. But
that's life in general, and the judgment that surrounds social media. But a lot of us do use it as a business. We do monetize off of it. That's some people's sole jobs. And I do think it's really awesome that you do kind of show a little bit about yourself too in your stories. I think that's important because a lot of times things seem very curated and fake.
Right.
And it's good to be able to share a little bit about yourself to your followers and who you are.
I always wanted to come across as relatable.
Yeah.
Because I am in normal life, everyday life. That's who I am. So if I can come across relatable through social media or through all my outlets, then, you know, and I can change someone's life or make them happy that day through everything that I do, then, you know, that's most important to me. I never want to not be relatable to someone.
Exactly. And you have substance. And I feel like a lot of people just see us Thank you. I feel like a lot of people just see a pretty girl on a screen. They're like, has nothing, no backstory. And, like you said, keeping it real and being relatable. You have substance, people. All right, modeling, moving to Florida, because we talked, you're not from here. Right. Tell us about your move to Florida.
So let's see, well, I came from LA. I was living in LA for a couple years on and off, and I was set to just stay there. Again, I used to live there in my 20s, then my late 30s. I always loved going back and forth to California. So ended up not working out. The only thing I really miss is the people I was with out there, the gym family. I used to go to Gold's Gym Venice, as everyone knows, I think, at this point. That's basically my home, and everyone's always like, come back home. Mm-hmm. But I miss that, and I miss the people. I miss shooting. I miss the content creating. I miss the energy of that life. It was really fun, but I always thought, if I don't live in California long term, I'm going to end up going to Florida. So I love the beach, I love palm trees, I like warm weather, I prefer it. And I figured it's East Coast, it's close to my mom, my dad, which are in New Jersey and Philly. So, it was just kind of like, just if something happens, God forbid, at least I'm somewhat closer. And as you know, obviously. Mm-hmm. And that's just more important to me. So just the perfect spot, great opportunities. And I figured let's do it.
Now, when the pandemic hit, fitness gyms are closed. Were you were in California or were you here?
I was here.
Okay, cool. So were you creating like different content based on the pandemic?
I did. I mean, when I did move here, I did kind of take a little bit of a break. I took a back seat, and I just, like I said, I really wanted to enjoy myself and have fun, like really just let loose and have fun. And I did, and I started kind of getting back into the creative mode during the pandemic. I would do outside filming, or I do like the bikini workouts, things like that, and just kind of have fun with it and show people that you can still do some great workouts at home. You can be outside, anywhere, stuff. Again, being relatable to the audience and with what they need and what they're looking for. So trying to find what people need and want. That's
so true. I feel like during quarantine was the best creative time I've ever could have had. And that's when my social media popped off, and it was like a good reset.
I saw yours. I've known you for at least a year or two. I mean, you popped up, and I said, she is beautiful, and I loved your story. I saw your story, and I understood who you were, and I really liked your energy. I thought you had a beautiful energy, a beautiful face, and your soul really spoke through.
Thank you.
And I really liked following your modeling as well, because you got better and better. And I just saw the transition, because once you do it more and more, and you work with different photographers, you just get into it more,
comfortable with myself. And during quarantine I had a lot of time to practice. I got the cool little iPhone tripod from Amazon, trying to do some TikToks and being able to do different poses. But I appreciate that.
I loved it. I was very proud of you. I was excited for you. I still am, because you're doing so wonderful, sweet. And you're doing so much. You're a hustler, so.
Well, I appreciate it. You're so sweet. I'm a girl's girl, so I'm a big hype woman of girls, and I'm like, dang, I saw her Instagram, so I had to slide in her DMs, and I want to be friends. I'm like, slip right in. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm new to Florida. I want to make some friends. Absolutely. I love supporting other women, and I think that's important. I feel like a lot of people see pretty girls on Instagram, they're like, oh, they're probably catty towards other women. That's not it. That's not where it's at these days.
It's definitely not you and I. That's for sure. I can say that. And after meeting each other, we definitely are so much alike. Yeah. And in all the positive ways. So
I'm happy I've made a friend here. Yeah, I really am. Okay, I can't wait to work out after I eat my donuts.
I know. It's interesting because me already knowing you, and then I kind of feel like I manifest. I've always been a manifester. So it's just so funny. And then you moved here, and I'm like, oh, and we got along, and it was right when I was working out too. I'm like, I know her. I'm like, wait, what's happening? So it was cool that you just slid on in there. You're like, hey, girl.
Yeah, everying happens for a reason. Cool. And I'm extremely, extremely glad you answered my DM, and we met. Absolutely. So we're going to continue this friendship. All right. Yes. Now I just want to go on about dating. Because this is a big topic. People run in my DMs a lot. So for instance, I just had this question and answer thing. I was at the Heat game last night, and I'm like, I have some time to kill. I want to do some question and answer. I can't tell you how many people slid in my question and answer box about dating or want to date.
yeah.
I was like,
They're gonna
oh,
ask you a
Lord
lot
have
of
mercy.
questions.
And I've had questions in my DMs, like advice about dating. I'm like, honey, I'm 28 and I'm single. Like, I don't know how much, I don't know how much advice I can give you, but you know, I'm here. I've been on quite a few dinner dates. I've seen a full spectrum of the male ego, and I think it's, you know, fun to talk about without saying any names. But yeah, so there's a segment I want to start doing on the podcast with my girly girls, or you know, whoever dates the male species, but called Boys to Men. And so
Cute.
we're good.
I'm so excited for this.
I love some Boys to Men.
Love Boys to Men.
Anyways, this has nothing to do about them. This is just to compare a date from a real man from a date from a boy. So, fellas, if you're listening, take notes, like thorough notes. So, for me, I'll start out with the men first. We're going to start on a positive note. For a male date I had that was really a man, and I didn't fully appreciate this. Sorry for this guy who's listening, if he does. I think he has a girlfriend now, so bless him. But he took me on a date. He was like a pilot or had his pilot's license. Well, the details are a little fuzzy, but he, you know, flew me around. This was in Charlotte, so I will say that. He flew me around Charlotte, and I got to see all the sights. And this was a first date now. So men take notes. It was sunset. He let me like, yeah, he let me like co-pilot a little bit. I was just like, wow.
Love it. Absolutely
Yeah, I
love
was
it.
in awe. And then after we landed, we had a little picnic. So I'm like, who thinks of these things? After
Amazing.
like coming from this boys' date that I'll tell next, like comparing and contrasting this two, I'm like, oh my God, that was a real man. So what is your like, okay, this date, this is like a real man. Maybe you didn't appreciate it at the time because I didn't. That's why I'm
Right.
still single, but
You definitely, as you get older and you go through more terrible dates or terrible relationships, you really do check yourself and like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to that. Like you will, but you're like,
yeah.
I shouldn't mess it up. So the next one that is a mandate, you're really gonna be
more appreciative of it.
yes,
Yeah.
because they do not come often, if at all.
No, I know this might be a hard segment because the people who are like real men out there with the real men dates, few and far between.
Yeah.
They're golden.
I mean, I think that I've just had I haven't really dated that much since I've been here because it's been really difficult. The men here are so different, you know, or maybe it's just the time, you know, the life that we're in right now, the world that we live in, and the social media makes it much more difficult than it used to be. You know, someone's always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, so it definitely has halted my dating life.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like, oh, whatever. But I think that for me, like a good mandate, honestly, is just someone taking charge, you know, making a phone call, keeping in contact with you, owning it, like owning them, being like secure and, you know, mature and planning the date, you know, asking like, you know, where would you like to go? Like, what are you interested in? First of all, that way that they can make a plan.
Yeah.
And that to me is like more important than just paying attention
But that's
to the girl.
few and far between.
Absolutely.
My big thing is like if there's a cell phone on the table, I'm like.
That makes me crazy. I don't like that because the guy should.
Or if they turn the cell phone down, I'm like,
right.
what you trying to hide?
Yeah, what you're trying to hide, number one, which is true, and then it's
I'm like, also always my cell phone's
there
up.
only needs to be that if the man has kids.
Yeah.
Then that makes sense. Of course, you want to make sure. And I dated someone that had a kid, so you know, for me, that I understood that. But there were times I'm like, all right, put the phone away and put it down. It should not be. I should have all the attention.
And this is coming from the two women who do social media, who are on their phones a lot. Like when you're in a date, like you just want the man. It's non-existent.
I want the man to know that my attention is on him.
Exactly.
And I'm respecting that, and I'm not. It's not like I'm obsessed with the phone and social media just because I have all that. It's, you know, that's a business.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I think another thing. I like when a man opens the car door.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'm like, when someone comes around the car and they open, I'm like,
yeah.
Hard eyes.
There was a date I went on not too long ago, and a couple dates with the person, but I walk out and he actually was standing at the door with the door open. And it was so cute. Like he just looked he looked really hot.
Okay, that's a real man.
He was really sexy. And I'm like, oh my God. Like it was just, that to me was like so sexy.
Yeah.
And so on. I was like, okay, you get points.
Ooh, yeah, the door
Yeah.
opening thing
The
for
door-
me.
and
I'm a little old fashioned. Open that door for me.
Yeah, and he was just waiting for me, and I'm like, oh no, you didn't. I
Yeah.
was like, you did very good.
Well,
Like,
you
that
just
was
got
cool.
already 5 stars from that
Yeah,
date.
that guy was. I like that.
Well, on the other hand, for bad dates, for
Yeah.
me, I've had plenty. One just
Oh,
comes to mind
absolutely.
like all the time. I don't know why. Every time I think of a bad date, his is like the top 5. I've had plenty of bad dates with this guy. I don't know why I went on multiple, but the
We
best
all
one
do.
is like when, and this guy's a reality star. I'll just say that,
Mm-hmm.
not name dropping. There's too many reality TV
names,
shows.
no
No names.
No names.
He doesn't deserve for his name to be out there.
No.
But he took me on a date, and he picked out everything, and he picked out all this food, and I barely even ate because it wasn't my choice, but I was trying to be nice. And then obviously he had to go take pictures with all his fans, and I'm just sitting there, and then he comes back up to me, like completely ignores me the whole day. And I'm like, why did I even go on this date? And he's like, oh, I left my wallet at home.
I would die.
First of all, I didn't even pick out what
I
food
would
we got to
die.
eat. I didn't even pick out my own food because
Okay,
he
I
picked it
don't-
all out.
I don't mind if a guy makes some, like, oh, let me order this first, but
Yeah.
not all that.
It was like $300 later.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
you know, I'm not rich or by no
Right.
means, and I was like 24 at the time, so I'm like,
Oh, girl. No.
and then I'm like, okay, well maybe he'll be like, hey, I'm sorry I left my wallet. Like, here's half the meal at least.
Yeah.
No. No, and I'm just like, this guy was
There's so many things he could have done to, like let's say he really
Yeah.
did, and what have you. There's so many things he could have done to let you know that and fix it really quickly, especially
Yeah.
at his like who he was.
Yeah, he,
is,
you know,
blah, blah,
he
blah.
obviously, I know
could have
he's very
worked
well
something-
established,
right,
so.
it would have been an easy fix without even you knowing. So it's just.
But I
like,
found
so
out he's like a
tacky.
serial person to
Oh.
do this to women.
Oh my
That's later on. It was
God.
like years later. Like,
what
I had a
is-
girl tell me the same story, so
That's
I'm
kind
like,
of like a narcissistic thing or something.
Yeah, it must
something
be.
to, like, have control over women to some degree.
I was
or
just
mess with
like,
them.
oh honey, no, why
Oh,
you're like
no.
30
Mm-mm.
doing this? Like, no, and I'm like 24, but it's okay. We're not dating.
I know, we're definitely not dating. Definitely don't do that, guys. Don't leave your wallet at home. Leave it
Yeah.
for the woman, especially
Especially if you
you're
pick out everything. Like, dang, I didn't even
That
get a
is
choice.
horrible.
I'm like, why didn't I get to order what I want if I
I'd be
gotta
like,
pay
at least
for
I-
it?
At least I ordered a steak and,
Yeah,
I'm
like at
that
least I could have
happy.
enjoyed my food. I didn't.
Yeah, I'd be really pissed off.
Yeah. So that was
yeah.
that was fun. How about your boyish?
Oh my gosh.
Date,
I've had
worst date.
So many bad first dates. There was one I did go on. I mean, this one was an NFL player.
No
and
names.
It was a birthday, and it was a few years back, and just hysterical. But anyway,
I know that laugh when you're just like thinking, you're like, oh, what was I thinking?
I went with my girlfriend, so we went into the city. Thank God for her. So he shows up. I'm already at the place. It was like for dinner or whatever and some drinks, and it was super low key. I understand coming from the industry to some degree, and I can also imagine. I have friends that are famous too, but I'm like, I know their life, so I get they don't want certain things out there. They have to be very careful with their image.
Yeah.
So this is already stuff I already know and understand. So if he doesn't drink in front of people, like that's fine. I get that. Like nothing in the world. But it was my birthday, all about Jess. And
Exactly, as it
he
should be.
Barely speaks the whole time. He has no
Uh.
interest in communicating with me. Just very boring. My poor girlfriend had to like. Any question she like had it coming at him, like she was just trying to make conversation, pull it out of him, which was really awkward. So it was like that awkward silence the whole time, and then didn't offer me a drink, didn't offer me anything. Like,
And it's
just
your
sat
birthday.
there. It was my birthday, so I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna order me some cake. Like, let's just order something. She was being really sweet. Thank God for her, of course, again. So nothing. He didn't want water. He didn't want anything. And I went, okay, well, at least have some water. And I thought, okay, who's around that would film him or like make it something that it's not? And I'm like, this is kind of like ridiculous and boring. And, he didn't do anything special.
Wait, was
for
he
it.
like under 21 or?
No,
Huh.
grown ass man. A grown ass man.
Oh, you can
And
drink,
I
I
was
mean.
like, okay, this is getting. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. So finally we leave, and of course he's like, so are we gonna go back to my hotel room? I'm like, I'm sorry. Number one, who do you think you are? Like, I am not. No, we're not doing that. That's not a thing. And
I
I'm like,
just-
and two, I'm like, really? Bro, you didn't do anything. Like,
Men are bold.
I mean,
bold.
that was
Sorry,
pretty,
Evan,
pretty
listening.
bold.
The men are, the male species are bold.
I'm like,
Bold.
mm-mm. That's cute.
I literally just
Real
had that
cute.
experience not long ago
Oh my
in
God,
Miami,
disgusting.
where you're like trying
So
to
disgusting.
pull out conversation. I mean, after they invited you or they asked you on
Yeah.
the date, I was like, why do I have to sit here and do all the talking?
Yeah, and he was like, oh, it's your birthday, let's do this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, my girlfriend's gonna come, and I just figured we'd make for more fun and what. Thank God she was there, because it was the worst. And she, oh my God, she was like, girl, oh my God, this was awful.
No.
She's like, he is awful.
No.
Yeah.
Especially like in the beginning, they're just not communicating. Or they just
Nothing,
ignore
no
you and you're
interest.
like, wait, why? I just wasted
Yeah.
like 3 hours of my life or 2 hours, like however long it is. And you're just sitting
It's
there.
kind of like, too, when he walked in, someone had recognized me from Instagram, and so someone was like, oh my God, you're Jessica Kiernan, like, which was really sweet.
Yeah.
It was back then. I think Instagram was pretty new.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe not, I don't know. But I got recognized, so he wanted to take a photo with me, and I was like, absolutely. So we took a bunch of photos, and the flash is on, and we're in like a dark restaurant, so the flash is on, and he comes walking in, and he sees me, and he's probably like, who is this girl? and
Get a
here I
little
am,
jealous.
like, doing like the photos. Like, yeah. And here he comes, and he's very well known. I mean,
Yeah.
you know when he walks right in, he's
Yeah.
he's famous, so. And I'm just standing like, oh yeah, and I'm the one getting the photos. It was really kind of funny. It was interesting.
Flex.
I was like-
Super flex.
I was like, and there's that.
And there's that.
So there you go.
Oh, you gotta love dating and being single these days.
goodness.
Anyone who's in a relationship, I'm like,
I-
keep it, please.
Yeah.
You don't want to go out into
You
this
don't.
cold dating world.
It's so hard. And I think now I'm older. I'm just a lot older. I just had a birthday, so it's just, to me, it either gets harder and harder, or I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, you know what, screw it, being on my own is fine.
Yeah.
But then I don't really want that, because I really love companionship. I love enjoying my time with someone and like doing fun stuff together. It's like, to me, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, me too. Sometimes
It's
I'm
not
just
being
like, you know
locked
what?
out.
My dog never lies to me, so we're
Right.
good.
I
But then
my
sometimes,
cat.
then the other half of me is like, oh, like,
I know.
I love. It's coming up on like cuffing. Well, we're still in cuffing season.
I know.
And Valentine's Day
It's a
coming
whole-
up.
Oh, you gotta get through that one.
Oh gosh.
It's annoying. Well,
All these holidays.
We'll go out tomorrow. We'll just order Chinese
Yeah,
together,
okay,
or
perfect.
Thai food,
We'll
and
have
we'll kick it.
Girls holiday
back.
for
It'll be
Valentine's.
us together, probably. Most likely.
That's fine. That's fine with me. And
Yeah.
you just said it was your birthday. Happy birthday
Thanks,
again. So,
yeah.
you know.
It's interesting, though. Yeah. There's
dating
definitely-
is interesting.
There's, and there's definitely, people I've liked, and then it doesn't go anywhere. Like, they just
Yeah.
which is, I think, part of the problem. I don't
Yeah.
know what that is. So
I don't get it either.
I
If
don't
someone knows the secret formula,
I don't
starts
know if
in
they're
my face.
insecure, if
But
they're
if
just
someone,
the next person,
yeah, I don't
if
know
it's
the
social
secret
media, or
formula.
they're-
Yeah, I don't
know.
get it. I don't get it.
I used to have game.
Sorry,
too.
people. Me
had
too.
I had game. I always had game. Now I'm like, did I lose my game, or is it my energy that's just like I'm so over it?
You said the magic word, energy.
it?
So like,
Energy.
I was in Miami South Beach with my best friend Brittany, and we were sitting at the pool, and then we're like gonna go walk our dogs because it's like a resort you can bring your dogs to. And we brought our dogs, Royal Palm.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was fun. I made Daisy dance to the EDM music.
I
Anyways,
love it.
a side note. So this guy came up to me and Brittany, and this was after we had like that kind of evening where the men were a little ignoring after they begged us to come out, and we were just like, what just happened? Anyways, the guy comes up, he's just like, y'all's energy is just so like magnetizing, I guess. Like, I just love your energy. And we looked at him and were like, can you please explain to us what our energy is, because we need to change it after what happened last night. And he like would not explain it, so we're like, yeah, we're gonna figure out what this energy is that we're putting off, or what's this energy going around, because I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I used to have mad game, and now I'm like, I'd rather just go to sleep with my dog and watch some Netflix.
Go to sleep with my cat.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that. They're like, where's your cat?
Yeah.
You're with your cat again. I'm like, yeah.
Snacks and Daisy, and I'm happy because, well, it's hard.
Girls who are so dope, by the way, and so single. Don't know how that's a thing.
I don't get it. I don't know the secret sauce. I don't know the magic one.
Fine, but if you want to have someone and enjoy time.
Yeah.
Someone. That's what it is, you know.
Yeah, and like you said, companionship.
Yeah.
I'm big. I want a partner. I'm
love
like
it.
gonna go do
So
adventures.
do
But you know
adventures,
what?
do stuff together,
I have my
do
friends
stuff.
right now, so as long as
Yes.
I'm good without the
It's gotta be
heartbreak.
right guy, though.
Yeah,
Definitely has to be
yeah.
the right guy because, you know,
It takes
wasting
time
your
too.
time is like, oh, yeah.
It takes time, but then I end up wasting my time. So
Yeah.
I don't know this fine
Yeah.
line. So
A guy just needs to keep up, and if he's really interested,
Yeah.
pursue you.
yeah.
And you know, that's it. You know, pursue us.
I don't know where to find
Make
that.
it happen.
I don't know where to find that.
Make it happen.
Just
Speak
being
up, do it.
honest. Yeah, all the Instagram men, women in the DMs asking
Yeah.
about dating. I don't have the secret sauce, but we'll
Don't-
keep
we don't
talking.
have a secret sauce.
We'll
Both
keep
of
talking
us.
about it.
We will.
And I'm pretty sure there's a
We'll
lot of
figure it
people
out.
who are in the same boat. We can just all start a club. Like, we don't know what's going on.
What's going
Club.
on?
Okay,
Oh my
DMs.
God.
I want to talk about DMs because,
DMs.
like, men and slide in the DMs. I know isolating your DMs.
I'm
What are
so
some
happy
like
for
really
you.
good like, other than me sliding your DMs? What are some like really good like
That's
DMs
the
from
thing,
men
though.
that you like looked at and you're like, okay, I'm gonna answer that.
I looked through all three of those DMs. You know, we
Yeah.
have like all three, and there's like general. And
Yeah.
Then you've got, you know, the ones that are restricted or blocked, or I don't know what it is. I have to look through them, one for business. So
Yeah.
I get a lot of like med spas that want me to come in and promote, and I get, you know, you get the exchange. So I have to look through for business reasons, or like, you know, photographers might cruise in. Things like that to me are more like I'll scroll in there and keep it, you know, looked at and paid attention to. So for me, it's always about business. When I do come across the other stuff, I just ignore it. The only time I'll really, like, I'll scan through because I do get people that are like, hey, I'm looking for personal training, or I'm looking for one of your meal plans, or, you know, whatever it is about fitness. Then I'm definitely paying attention to that. So I kind of scroll through that. And then every now and then I'll see like the BS ones. It's like, it's always the same thing. It's always like, baby, you're so beautiful. But it's so good. I mean, once in a while, like,
I love
it's
I
so
love the
funny.
poems though.
The poems are hysterical. But again, I've been in social media since MySpace, since
Yeah.
AOL, since AIM.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
I miss MySpace for your
me
top
too.
8.
Oh my god.
That was my
But
jam.
I am so used to all of that stuff
Yeah.
that it doesn't faze me.
Yeah.
I know how to handle it. I know how to ignore it. I know how haters come in. Like, I completely know how to handle it, and it's a business. So I feel like, you know, if you have that, understand that mentality, you're fine. Like, you can just have fun with it, just laugh at it. And you just, I mean, me personally, I just don't respond. I just laugh at it, and I just, you know, delete everything, and I'm like, oh, whatever, please.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, it is what it
I
is.
like scroll through it for business, and you know how
Right.
they like filter their requests, like top
Right.
requests. If you know what we're
Absolutely.
talking about, like they'll show you like people with more followers who
Yeah.
send you DMs, and I mean that's easy to go through.
Yeah.
And obviously you get like the hate
I love you,
DM,
baby.
and then the I love you baby with
I
the
love you, baby.
roses. And then sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, can you send me money? Like some of those DMs. I'm like, cash
funny,
at me. I'm like,
sure.
all right, I'm not. You're gonna be your sugar
Uh-huh.
mama, and I like laugh. I love the people on TikTok. There's like these couple girls on TikTok, they like read their DMs, and I'm like, oh
gosh.
Lord, I don't even
That's
want to
actually
do
hysterical.
that.
That's gotta be really funny, like a
Oh,
good TikTok.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh,
Let me
I
read my DMs.
let me read
That's
my
actually
DMs right now. I'm
I'm
a little nervous. I'm a little nervous to open mine right now.
It's so interesting. People always thought for so long, they're like, oh, you must get all like those, you know, those pictures.
Yeah.
And it must be. I'm like, it's actually not. My audience the men have really, truly always been very good with me.
Yeah, that's good.
I remember a few years back, a lot of, you know, and since I'm in fitness, like, you're primarily showing your body. So, you know, if I had like the thong bikini on, you know, my glutes are out, stuff like that. I mean, I remember I would never really put myself too out there because the relationship I was in was, you know, it wasn't okay. So I had there was a fine line. I was trying to do both, which was really hard, by the way. Not really possible.
No.
Jesus, my career. And then also to my image, keeping it clean. But then it got to a point where you had to kind of push the envelope.
Yeah.
So, but there was a time when I did like a thong, and I put it out there on Twitter just to see what would come. Like, I wanted to see the audience and what they would say, and the guys were like, "We love you. We don't need to see a thong. We're cool with it, but you're fine. We don't need you like switching it up."
That's
like,
nice.
It was cool.
Yeah.
So I really don't. I think when maybe men that I date might get insecure, they really don't have to be insecure. It's like,
No.
it's really not coming at me. I don't get the photos.
I know DMs are like the biggest, like.
It's interesting. I really never really get anything bad or inappropriate.
I mean, I sometimes
so
do, but yeah.
I'm like, good.
No, I sometimes do, but for the most part, lately it's
will.
been very uplifting and
Yeah, that's good.
a lot of positivity coming through, which is really, really good, especially for this time of my life.
I think if you get the respect,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to have less of that, you know, less of the gross stuff.
And like,
sure.
you know, pushing the envelope like you were just talking about, like sometimes you kind of have to.
You do. I mean,
spice
no
things up
what,
on Instagram, but keep it classy. That's, you know, that's what
There's a way to do it properly.
Yeah, classy and pushing the envelope.
Will know that, and your friends will know, like, whoever you're dating should support it, understand it.
Yeah, that's really hard, dating and Instagram. It's like that could be like a whole other that's
a segment.
Ooh, yeah, I can't even. Yeah, that's like a 3-part episode.
Tough.
Yeah,
you just have to have someone. You just have to communicate and let them. I mean, I always let guys know first. Like if I am starting to date someone seriously, I definitely am. I talk about it. I trickle with it, just so they know that I approach it. It's a business, and there's nothing. Hey, take the phone.
I know. That's for me. I'm like, you can take my phone, read through my DM. Yeah, there's nothing because for us, it's a business, but like we said, we try to keep it relatable, try to keep it real, and I think that's definitely important.
Girl,
even you do too. All right, phasing out of Instagram, men's. If you had to give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you give?
I'd say to stand up for myself more. You know, now that I'm older, I was bullied when I was younger, and I was bullied throughout my 20s by, you know, people in my town and girls being jealous. And it definitely impacted me. It definitely made me go to the gym. It was like, that's why I always went, because it was a place where I could just, you know,
it's your safe space,
Safe space. I mean, there's a million times, I think I've said this on another podcast. I have definitely cried my eyes out at the gym and no one knew. You know, like, you know, you're just going through it. So that's definitely a safe space. So I would say, now that I'm older, I definitely speak up more.
Yeah.
You know, I don't let people walk all over me. It's sometimes I think I'm welcoming to people because I don't want. My thing is, I guess maybe people might think it's flirting with them, or I'm so nice that they can walk over, but it's not. There's a difference. I'm actually just being welcoming to people because I don't want anyone to feel left out. Yeah. Whether it be, you know, sitting down at the dinner table and we've got friends around us and someone's just like, I'm not being spoken to. I always want someone to feel okay. So whether or not that comes across a certain type of way, that's on someone else. But to stick up for myself has been a huge, huge thing for me in the past, like, I'd say 10 years. Huge.
Yeah, I feel that. I was bullied in high school and throughout my life, and
and I hate
one
drama.
thing I've had to develop. It's always the people who hate drama get the most drama. I'm like,
drama.
Crap.
And you're like, okay, and then you know, you're just you're a good person, so you're like, where is this coming from? But that's where, you know, not being weak and not being. And there's a difference, you know. You're not weak.
Thinking about like, I also have to think about too, like throughout all those times, if I could just tell myself, hey, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them as a person.
Right. And it's hard to wrap.
Because I'm always like, what did I do wrong? Like, what am I doing? And that's really 90% of the time, it's not the case. So
it's really not, and it's hard to wrap your head around that. Yeah. It really is. I mean, I don't think of myself as the most beautiful girl. I don't think I'm the prettiest, the tiniest, or the sexiest. You know, you're just like, oh, you just wake up and you're you. Yeah. So I don't approach my day like that. I don't approach even the way I speak to people. Like, I'm just, you know,
you're
whatever.
Just you. You're the best version of you, and that's at the end of the day. Like, I like to stay in my own lane and just try to be the best version of me. Yeah.
And I just treat people with respect. Yeah. So, you know, if someone comes at me, they want to be negative, and they want to come at me, I'm going to give it back. And I like that. So
it's the fierce Italian girl.
Fierce. Yeah. And my whole thing was fierce, like fierce girl for the longest time. I mean, that's my jam, so I'm going to stay fierce and be fierce. And I'd say be more fierce when I was younger. Yeah. Just a little bit.
So anyone listening who's going through some stuff, just be fierce.
Speak
be
up
you.
And stick up for yourself.
Yeah. In a classy way, though. Some people are like, oh, stick up for yourself, and they're pulling hair, and we don't need to do all that.
You might have, like, you know,
extensions.
Extensions, and don't mess up extensions. Okay?
No, no, just stick up for yourself in, like, a respectful manner, and, like, don't take no crap.
Stay classy.
Yeah, stay classy. Well, thank you, Jessica, for taking time out of your day and coming on.
I'm excited for you. I'm very happy that you wanted me on.
And we're going to have a girls' date soon. Get some dirty martinis, something going on.
Absolutely.
Non-ab diet food.
I'm all yours.
Oh, thank Thank you. Perfect. And we
Yes.
can, talk about our bad dates some more that we can't
Absolutely.
disclose on the internet.
We'll give names to each other.
Yeah, we'll actually disclose the names. Oh,
We'll
Lord.
disclose names to each other.
In the Instagrams, be like, nope. Anyways,
What?
I appreciate you coming
Thank you. I
in
appreciate
and
it.
talking about you and dating and some advice, like stuff we all need to hear, I
Yes.
think.
I'm excited.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Validated by Victoria. Stay tuned for our next podcast, and you'll be seeing it drop next week. Until then, thanks for tuning in, guys.